Hello everybody, it's Non-Scene News here, and today we've got a lot of broken dates today. And the first news we'll be talking about today is coming from Russia and China. So we've got news that Xi Jinping has just accepted Putin's invitation to the victory parade in Moscow. This is according to the Russian ambassador to China, which he told Sputnik, the news agency. So the president of China, Xi Jinping, will be attending the Moscow military parade celebrating the victory over Germany in the Second World War. So Xi Jinping will be attending the Moscow military parade. So big news, and he's not the only head of state which will be attending the Moscow military parade. There's many Western countries that will be attending the military parade, including Slovakia and Serbia. We also had some news that Israel might be attending the victory parade in Moscow, but that isn't confirmed yet. So many heads of states will be attending the victory parade in Moscow, and now including on the list will be President of China, Xi Jinping. And the next news we'll be talking about today is coming from Ukraine, where we've got news that Zelensky has just announced a special one-year military contract for young people aged 18 to 24. So, experienced combat brigades, together with the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, have developed this contract. This is an option, this is a volunteer, not a mobilization, but this huge contract comes with many benefits. So this includes high financial compensation, free education and free housing loans. Full details will be released next week, Zelensky said in an interview. So Zelensky is offering men aged 18 to 24 to volunteer into the Ukrainian army, and obviously this comes with a lot of perks like a $24,000 a year bonus and free university and school and education, zero interest mortgage, and a 1-year contract. So very big news. We've also got news today that Zelensky stated that Putin is not preparing for negotiations at all, but he is going to be continuing the war in Ukraine. They are increasing their army by more than 100,000 soldiers, Zelensky stated. Zelensky also stated that serious people from the Trump administration will be visiting Ukraine this week. Zelensky said, the talks will focus on stopping Putin and securing guarantees for Ukraine. The visit comes ahead of the Munich Security Conference starting on February the 14th. And along with this, we've just gotten news that the Ukrainian Defense Minister Umanov has just met with the US Defense Secretary Higgeth. So that's big news, which we haven't gotten any more news of that at this very moment. So the two Secretary of States of the US and Ukraine has just met, and we'll get further information of their meeting a bit later. We've also gotten some news today coming from the Baltic countries. That's the Baltic states have fully synchronized with the European power grid. So Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia has just disconnected from the Russian and Belarusian energy system, a move that they have been planning since 2017. So the Baltic states has just withdrawn from the Russian and Belarusian energy grid, and we've actually gotten the exact moment when Estonia and Latvia and Lithuania disconnected from the Brill Russian power grid, which had been used since the becoming of independent from Russia in 1990. So we can see this video here, we can see the exact moment where the Baltic states fully disconnected from the Russian and the Belarusian power grid. So interesting news. We've also gotten some big news coming from Poland. So we've got news that a Russian SU-24 MR violated Polish airspace, the operational command of the armed forces of Poland stated. So according to the Polish military, a Russian SU-24 MR reconnaissance aircraft of the Russian aerospace forces, which took off from the Kaliningrad region, violated the airspace over Polish territory waters in the area of the Gulf of Gdansk at February the 11th, so yesterday. It was claimed that the aircraft went 6 kilometers deep and strayed over Polish territory for a minute and 12 seconds. So a Russian SU-24 entered Polish airspace for at least a minute and 12 seconds, according to the armed forces of Poland, which has sent a huge warning to Moscow. So very interesting news. We've got some news today coming from Romania. That's the Romanian president has just announced that he will resign today. So if you can see here in your bottom left corner, this is the Romanian president, which he has announced that he will be resigning. So the Romanian president announced that he will resign on February the 12th. The Romanian opposition parties were planning to register his impeachment in Parliament today, but he took his matters in his own hands and he decided to resign. So he's expected to resign today. And the next news we're going to be talking about today is coming from Germany. So we've got news that Germany has just begun the development of the Leopard 3 tank. So the tank will allegedly have a 130mm gun, and obviously along with it 130mm ammunition for it. The tank will have new types of protection armor along with a completely different engine to the Leopard 2 tank. So allegedly, if you can see here in the bottom left corner, this is the alleged sketches of what we could expect the Leopard 3 tank to look like. So again, Germany has just brought this into development, so it probably won't be a thing until quite a bit, but I'll keep you updated on that. And we've also gotten some news today of the most recent and updated German polling of the potential outcome of the German election. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see the CDU party still retaining the popular vote in the political landscape of Germany, but the AfD party is still in second place, but steadily rising. If we remember, we can clearly remember not so long ago that Elon Musk did actually openly endorse the German AfD party, which probably gave it a couple of percentages of supporters, but it's the AfD party is still in second place. But the CDU party, all I really know about the CDU party, which is projected to win the German elections, it is very supportive of Ukraine, and it supports the idea of Germany sending the Taurus military missiles to Ukraine to strike into Russia. We've also got some news today coming from Slovakia. So we've got news that over 100,000 people have protested in Slovakia in the past couple of days, voicing pro-European and pro-Ukrainian settlements. So 100,000 people have protested in Slovakia in the past couple of days, and they chanted slogans like "Resign, resign" to the Slovak Prime Minister, and "Slovakia is Europe, not Russia," and calling the Prime Minister of Slovakia a Russian agent. So interesting news. We've also got news that the Prime Minister of Slovakia, Robert Fico, has actually wrote a personal letter to Elon Musk asking him to reveal the US aid political influence in Slovakia. So the Prime Minister of Slovakia stated that it is undeniable that funds originating from the US aid were also used for political purposes in Slovakia to distort the political system and favor a specific political parties in Slovakia, stated the Prime Minister of Slovakia. So interesting news. We've also got some news coming from the UK today that British farmers have staged a protest outside of the UK Parliament. So the protesters oppose Labour's plan to impose a 20% inheritance tax on farms valued over £1 million. So that's $1.2 million according to the Daily Mail. So with over 148,000 signatures, they demand the resignation of this bill to end it and try and get the inheritance tax gone. So interesting news, but weirdly, a lot of British farmers did arrive in London with tanks. So in addition to tractors, military equipment have appeared on the streets of London. So I didn't know you could get tanks in the UK, but apparently you can. And the next news we'll be talking about today is coming from Armenia. That's the Armenian Parliament has just adopted a bill on the beginning of the country's accession process into the EU, with 63 deputies already voting in favour. So it's very likely that Armenia will pass this Parliament vote to the process of joining the European Union. And furthermore, the next news we'll be talking about today is coming from Syria, where the Israeli army is now continuing its offensive in southern Syria. So we've got news that Israeli troops are now on the move in southern Syria, in the Dera region. So a large squadron of Israeli jets have entered southern Syria, operating over much of the Syrian and Jordan border zone. So a huge Israeli offensive has happened near the city of Nawa. So we can expect the Israeli army continuing its buffer zone on Syria, and we can potentially maybe see Israeli forces setting up some maybe fortifications outside of the city of Nawa, so I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got news that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has just threatened to end the ceasefire in Gaza and to order troops build up in Gaza. So in a video statement, the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu declared that if Hamas does not return the Israeli hostages by Saturday at noon, the ceasefire will end and the IDF, so the Israeli Defense Forces, will resume intense fighting until Hamas is completely defeated. So Benjamin Netanyahu stated that after Hamas has announced a delay in hostages releases, he has ordered the Israeli Defense Forces to mobilize troops inside and around Gaza in preparations for renewed combat. This action is already underway and will be completed soon, he added, and tensions escalate as Israel moves towards a full-scale resumption of hostilities in Gaza. So so Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, has just given Hamas an ultimatum to either release all Israeli hostages by Saturday noon, or all hell will break loose. We've got news coming from Sudan today that Sudan and Russia have just agreed on everything regarding the establishment of a Russian naval base, the East African country's foreign ministry has stated. So Sudan's authorities have just accepted a deal where Russia will be allowed to create a military naval base in the port of Sudan, a strategic point of the Red Sea, allowing it to maybe access the Mediterranean Sea. This comes as Russia obviously lost its Taros military port in Syria when Bashar al-Assad was overthrown by the HTS rebel group, and now Russia was left with no naval base in the Mediterranean Sea. The next one they could get was a naval base in Sudan, which is apparently in the making. So Russia is now setting up a naval base in the port of Sudan. So I'll keep you updated on that. And the next news we'll be talking about today is coming from Iran. So Iran has produced its first aircraft carrier, but when I say aircraft carrier, it's more like a drone carrier. So Iran has produced its first aircraft carrier that can strike over 1,000 kilometers without refueling. So Tehran has rolled out the Shahed Bari aircraft carrier, but if you can clearly see, this so-called aircraft carrier is just it's an oil tanker that has been refurbished to be an aircraft carrier. So if you can see in these images, you can clearly see how it was once a container ship, an oil tanker, but it's been refurbished and it's added a bloody airway system to it. So I thought this was a pretty smart move. But this aircraft carrier can hold 10 helicopters at once, dozens of high-tech drones, and can actually hold anti-air and missiles on this aircraft carrier. So interesting news. So Iran has actually produced and made its first aircraft carrier, or drone carrier, whatever you want to call it. We've also got some news coming from Uzbekistan today. We've got news that Uzbekistan has returned 7 Black Hawk military helicopters back to the United States. So the Central Asian nation of Uzbekistan acquired the expensive advanced helicopters after the Afghan pilots used those to flee to Uzbekistan from the Taliban. So Uzbekistan gained 7 Black Hawk military helicopters when Taliban helicopter pilots actually fled the Taliban and flew to Uzbekistan. But now Uzbekistan is giving these 7 Black Hawk military helicopters back to the United States. We've also got some news today coming from the South China Sea. We've got news that Vietnam is now improving its island here. So, to counter China, Vietnam has turned the Nam Viet island into a naval outpost, expanding it tenfold in 4 years. So, the island is currently claimed by China, the Philippines, and Taiwan. Vietnam is building a shipping pier to improve access to the island. So, if we can see here, we can see that Vietnam has clearly expanded this island into a military naval outpost, which apparently, according to news outlets, is going to be used for trying to back away Chinese ships from the South China Sea. We've also got some news coming from North Korea today. That's the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said that the country intends to further develop its nuclear forces. And the last news come today is coming from the United States. So where we've got news that Donald Trump has imposed 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminium imports from Monday, Trump has announced. So from Monday, Trump will be making a 25% tariff on all steel and aluminium imports from the US. We've already got news of retaliation measures from the EU. So the EU has announced that it will take retaliation measures in response to the US decision to impose 25% tariffs on steel and aluminium imports, the European Commission announced. So the European Union might be imposing tariffs on the United States itself. I'll keep you updated on that. We've also gotten some news today that Donald Trump also met with the King of Jordan, Abdul II. So Donald Trump met with the King of Jordan, where they talked about the fate of Gaza. So, as probably many of you know, that Donald Trump desires to relocate a lot of Palestinians to other countries like Egypt, Jordan, and even Morocco. So, according to Donald Trump, Palestinians will be living beautifully in another location, not Gaza, Trump announced. Trump also announced that the United States will be holding the Gaza Strip and will be rebuilding it to try and make it the Singapore of the Mediterranean Sea. So Trump stated that we don't have to buy it. There is nothing to buy. There's no reason to buy. We're going to take Gaza and we're going to hold it and we're going to cherish it. Gaza can be a diamond. So Donald Trump, well, the United States will be personally it seems taking over the Gaza Strip, apparently according to Donald Trump. That's his own words. So very interesting news. The King of Jordan announced that President Trump is the man of peace and played a key role in securing the Gaza ceasefire, and the King of Jordan, Abdul, is looking forward to further negotiations with Donald Trump. And we've also got news that the King of Jordan, Abdul II, already agreed to take on 2,000 sick Palestinian children during the meeting. So Jordan will be, it seems that it's kind of open into taking some of these Palestinian people that have been living in the ruins in Gaza. We've also got news today that Donald Trump announced the release of another American. So Trump did not disclose who exactly it would be, but earlier in the evening, the White House just announced that the American citizen of Mark Vogel, I think that's how you pronounce his name, had been released as part of a deal with Russia. Trump stressed that the terms of his release were fair enough. So Mark Vogel, I believe his name is, was sentenced to 14 years for drug smuggling, a former employee of the American Embassy and later a teacher at the Anglo-American school. He was detained in Russia in August 2021 for medical marijuana. So there's been a prisoner exchange between Russia and Donald Trump, where Donald Trump actually sees this American exchange of prisoners as a basis of new relations between the two countries of Russia and America. So, interesting news. And the last news we've gotten today is coming from the map, and the map has changed. If you can clearly see here, Google Maps has actually changed the name of Gulf in Mexico to the Gulf of America. On my screen, you can both see the Gulf of Mexico and the Gulf of America. This is due because I don't live in either the US or Mexico. So Google has kind of resolved this problem of adding the both names. And that's all the news I've gotten today. I am Lonseen News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. If you like what I do, you can actually help me personally by actually donating through PayPal on the link of description, or becoming a member of YouTube of my channel. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.